Oh, come on. Frank, stop comparing everything to the Vietnam War. Just stop. It's 2001, okay? I mean, yeah, I hear this shit from the left wing all the time. Learning the lessons of history. I mean, who the fuck chooses which lessons of history? This is 2001. This kid George Bush in the White House, he's got a good head on his shoulders, okay? Look who his father is. Look at the fucking family that raised him. He grew up with the fucking director of the CIA as his father. He knows how to run a war. It's not gonna be like Vietnam, I fucking promise you, okay? I just came from the meeting. These fucking contracts they're offering are beautiful, Frank. Okay, look, the first thing I did was get on the phone with you. I tried calling you from my fucking iPhone, but it turns out in 2001 the iPhone wasn't invented yet. Then I tried calling you on my fucking Nokia N-Gage. That wasn't invented yet either, okay? I'm calling you right now on a fucking control pad because it's the only thing that resembles an old-fashioned telephone in my fucking apartment. Frank, it's 2001. I promise you, the war in Afghanistan, it's not gonna go down like Vietnam, so just stop saying that.
If she's prone to partying and drugs, you must have 100% belief that she's getting dicked down in these parties. If she's taking drugs, if she's going out partying and whether you want to believe it or not, when a girl goes out to party, bro, she's having sex with other guys. I don't give a fuck how secure you feel in your relationship. That's my belief, and people can say I'm anxious or something. But if anyone, a man or a woman, puts themselves in that kind of party environment, they're doing it because they want to sleep around.
It wasn't fair for you to say that you would break up with me if I went to a nightclub.
When I think back about the relationships I was in, and it was, I was a weak, very, very weak man compared to what I am now. And it was a normal thing for a girl to still go out drinking with her friends and partying and shit. And I was getting gaslit. I was the one being shown as like the bad guy when I would be uncomfortable and anxious about it. And then I was like so convinced, oh yeah, like maybe I'm just an insecure guy, maybe I've just got anxious attachment style. Bro, fuck that. It's a real gut instinct inside of a man that when your woman's going out to do some degenerate shit, of course you feel disgusted by it, of course you feel so unattracted, of course you feel anxious. If she's going out and doing degenerate shit, if she's like dressed up nice to go out into a club or to a party or to like drink, shut the fuck up, bro. And we ignore it because we're deemed as controlling. I dated a girl who gaslit the fuck out of me, with her, all of her friends, her mother, everyone, saying that I was like controlling because I said to her, like, I didn't even say, oh, you can't go out or anything. I just said that it would make me so anxious if she was still going out to parties, that then I wouldn't want to continue the relationship. And I literally was branded as such a bad guy for this.
But I remember you saying that you'd have sex with my auntie. And I remember that really upset me at the time. And I remember thinking, like, why did you say that? Like, it wasn't exactly necessary. You saying that I should be aware of your insecurities, and I was very empathetic towards you and your insecurities in terms of me saying that it wasn't fair for you to say that you would break up with me if I went to a nightclub. But then you played on my insecurities. You literally said to me, Hamza, that you would have sex with my auntie. That, like, there's no context for that to ever come up in conversation. And then the next time my auntie came over, you went and gave her a hug. And I remember you turned around and said to me, sorry, I'm getting upset, sis. Yeah, and you gave her a hug. And then I remember you turned around and said to me afterwards, I can't remember exactly what you said, but you were like, oh, you're getting anxious. I was like, no, I wasn't before, but I am now. And you said about the auntie thing, you were like, oh, like if we were still seeing each other, like I'd try and make it happen, like I could see it happening. Like, who says that to their girlfriend? I'm sorry, I don't want to get upset, but I'm sorry, but you can't sit here and say that I was unsympathetic towards you and your insecurities when you were saying things like that.
Come on! I know you voted for McCain. I voted for McCain. Everybody I've ever fucking met voted for McCain. But don't let that disappointment warp the way you're thinking about this war. It's a good war. I mean, it's going well for guys like you and me. These fucking contracts, can you believe how much money they'll pay for you to drive a fucking forklift around an airport in Kabul. It's crazy, man. And this kid Obama, it's not all bad. Look, I want to say, man, do not use the N-word with me. I know you're upset, but I don't want to get used to hearing it. I don't want to get used to saying it. You know, yeah, people say that my ex-wife is black, but she's not that black, okay? I can't get away with this. And no. It's not even that I think people are fucking listening in on this fucking janky-ass iPhone 2. This piece of crap. Might as well put my fucking head out the window and shout down the block at you compared to using this fucking thing. Do you know how fucking hard it is to get porn on an iPhone 2? What, do I have to wait for iPhone 11 to be able to download porn from the App Store? But look, this kid Obama, all right? It's not all bad news having him in the White House, okay? I mean, he studied at Harvard University. What the fuck do you think he learned at Harvard, if not how to manage a large-scale international war? It's not going to end like Vietnam, Frank. It's not. It's a good war. It's gonna end good. I fucking promise you, bro. It didn't start like Vietnam. It's not like Vietnam in the middle. It's not going down like the Vietnam War.
My current girl who's upstairs is probably going to watch this. So imagine you're dating a girl, you're both in love, but then you know that you're going on a trip for months. And so she wanted to get like a lot more serious. She wanted me to make her my girlfriend. And obviously I said to her like, no, like I'm going on this trip. I'm not going to make you my girlfriend. And I said something to her which she took as like a massive disrespect, which you boys can tell me if this is disrespectful for what I said or not. But I looked her in the eyes and said like, no, because when I go, I'm going for 3 to 6 months. I'm going to be in a different country for 3 to 6 months. I'm going to start dating and sleeping with girls there. And so this is where just suddenly I was branded as like a really bad person by my best friend and then also by her. And it was like, I could have lied to her. I think the majority of guys, I'm not going to lie, like you can say it's rude and maybe I'm right, maybe you're right, maybe I'm right. But like my perception is the majority of guys would have lied to her and been like, oh yeah, you know, I'll always love you and I'll go there and I'll speak, you know, I'll stay committed or something. And I looked her in the eyes and said like, don't wait for me. Like I'm going to be gone for months. I'm probably I'm going to end up getting with girls there. Don't wait for me when I come back. Like, don't wait for me. If when I come back, both of us end up, you know, sharing a connection again, then okay, we'll pursue that. But right here, right now, don't wait for me. And even though that hurt, I think it was the right thing to do. I still stand by that. But that was like brutally honest, and you know, it got me a level of sort of bad reputation. And this is when it starts getting like painful. So through all this time, my best friend knows this, and you know, we'd speak about this girl, we'd speak about a bunch of stuff, and he always like kind of supported me. You know, he would always say like, oh yeah, like I'm his brother, that like this girl that I'm with, he was like, oh, you know, she's not even that important, you're better than her, she's not on your level and stuff. He'd be saying these things, right? And I'm somewhat exposing him because I'm like, I don't have any level of loyalty to him anymore, even though he was literally like a brother to me. He was like one of the closest man to me, even closer than like me and Sam. Like me and Sam spent a lot more time talking and stuff online, but me and this guy, we were together in person and we went through so much growth together. But then within like, I don't know, a couple of days, I'm in Thailand. Imagine this, okay, I'm in Thailand now, and I suddenly see on both of their Instagrams that they've done like a workout together. And straight away, like, am I a pussy for this? Am I wrong in saying that that's fucking inappropriate? You know, there's pain involved to that, seeing that on their Instagram. So, oh, they're working out together and like, oh, okay. So as soon as I've left. And I'm still speaking to him. And, you know, we're like my best friend, like, so we're still friends and everything. And I'm in Thailand. And so we're still calling and still the same thing. He'd be like speaking to me about her. And every now and then I'd mention her and say, like, you know, how's she doing and stuff. Because I still cared about her to this point. And this is all before I met Anastasia, who's upstairs right now. And so we'd be speaking about her and everything else. And he'd be briefly mention, like, oh, yeah, you know, she'd come up and like ask him questions about me. And he'd somewhat like, you know, they'd end up speaking about me and stuff, but he would just kind of tell her what I would tell him, which is like, oh yeah, you know, just like let her down easily and tell her to like somewhat move on. So maybe, obviously, like I expect her to move on, that's fine. But what happened between a man who I consider like a brother, that's the problem. You know, I 100%, I'll be honest, I've kind of clickbaited, you know, live streams are supposed to be clickbaited. I've clickbaited this video where I'm venting about my ex because it's going to get more views, but I'm not really venting about her. No offense to her, but I didn't expect anything better from it. You know, it's like once you've ended with a girl, you can't expect anything from them. No problem. But it's what I'm really venting about is him.
Anna, I know that you hooked up with Joe when we're dating, and I think that's disgusting that my best friend would hook up with my boyfriend.
Oh shit. What are you talking about?
I think that's disgusting.
I didn't.
I saw you. I've seen you guys on Snap Maps. I've
Right
seen you guys on Snap Maps for literally weeks. I've seen you on Snap Map, and then yesterday. No. This TikTok is gonna see this. Okay. Yesterday, my mom called me and told me that she saw you guys together, holding hands at the park.
Oh shit.
What does it mean to be paranoid? It's easy to point the finger and laugh. It's easy to just use it as an insult and say, this guy is paranoid. What does it really mean? This guy had one negative experience with one woman and his best friend. And he's letting that negative experience determine how he thinks about the present and the future. He's made it into some kind of universal law of physics when it's not. It's just one experience and a unique set of circumstances that cannot be generalized about any more than the reasons why the United States of America lost the Vietnam War. This is way beyond no pump, gentlemen. I've been getting no exercise, and I've been on what you might call a binge and purge diet consisting of nothing but pussy. As I have gotten older, I have learned to appreciate that many of the moral categories that were foisted upon me by my elders as a child are not, in fact, simple matters of black and white, of a 1 or a 0. They're on a spectrum. They're on a scale, shall we say, from 1 to 10. Right? Am I cheating on my girlfriend? Perfectly reasonable question. You can ask me right now. Oh, gee, you say you've been eating all this pussy. Am I cheating on my girlfriend? What if the answer isn't yes or no? What if it's not black or white? What if you should really be asking me, how much are you cheating on your girlfriend on a scale of 1 to 10? And you know, what if it's possible, conceptually, to be cheating on your girlfriend too much? And what if it's possible that you're not cheating enough? You see what I'm setting up here? As I've gotten older, I've become a little bit more racist. I said it. But I think it's possible to not be racist enough, by the same token whereby we can so easily judge people to be excessively racist. Many of the problems we attribute to racism really are problems with being too racist. On a scale of 1 to 10, you would not want to be above a 5. You know, you don't want to be like 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 racist. This is going to go nowhere. But would you really want to be a 0? I mean, the same thing with cheating on your girlfriend. Do you really want to be cheating on your girlfriend 0 out of 10? Do you really want to take it that low? I knew a white gentleman, well, what you might call a white boy, who had the misfortune of growing up in a high crime area of one of many of America's very impressive, intensely depressing cities. And he had the experience one day of interrupting some African American gentlemen while they were stealing his bike. So it would not be sufficient for me to say some black guys stole his bike. how would he even know the thieves were black if he didn't walk up and say to these guys, hey, what are you doing? And they let him know, oh, we are in the middle of stealing your bike, so you might as well just fucking get used to it. He got used to it. The problem with racism is that this led him to have a mentality of fearing and hating all black people, and not just like narrowly and specifically expecting that the next time he bumped into a bunch of black guys, they would try to steal his bike. It's not like it led him to the rational or irrational conclusion that all black people are bike thieves or that all bike thieves are black. No, it led to this generalized state of paranoia, right? Where like you're blaming all black people forever for something just 3 black guys did on one occasion to you once. Here's what's really fucked up. It doesn't matter if it only happened once. It doesn't matter if living in that same, inspirationally bleak, post-industrial, high-crime American big city, it doesn't matter if you have the experience of having your bike stolen by black people once, twice, 5 times, or 10 times. Even if this same thing happened to this guy 10 times over and over and over again, he's still got to meet each new black person he encounters with an open heart and an open mind, and not let that prior experience of bicycle theft prejudice him. And the fucked up thing is, we can all see the nature of the problem clearly when we use colors other than black and white. Let's just say hypothetically, let's just say, for example, you grew up in Ireland. And let's just say you grew up in one of these towns in County Cork, County Mayo, whatever. You grew up in a town where 99% of people are Irish. Okay. But it happened to be 3 Irishmen with red hair who stole your fucking bicycle. Are you going to spend the rest of your life hating and fearing and resenting everyone you meet with red hair? Like, what's the cause and effect connection here? Do you think, oh, all bicycle thieves have red hair? Or do you just think all red-haired people are out to get you? Isn't it self-evidently absurd to harbor this prejudice or to feel this kind of paranoia against red-haired people because it happened to be people with red hair who stole your bicycle? And it doesn't matter if you've got the statistics that 50% of bicycle theft in Ireland is done by people with red hair. Think about the Japanese. Most of Japan, all the bicycle thieves are the same ethnicity as the victims. Are you going to hate all Japanese people if you live in Japan and your bike gets stolen? And guess what? Guess who the thief was? It was somebody Japanese. In this same way, fundamentally, when you look at the disappointments and setbacks of American imperialism, to be perfectly blunt, it's not really possible to cultivate an ideology of anti-Americanism. It isn't even possible to cultivate or support an ideology of being pro-peace, anti-war, anti-interventionist. None of it fucking works, no matter how terrible a failure the Vietnam War was. You really can't let that prejudice what you imagine the outcomes will be. If the United States of America now has a military intervention in Ukraine, has a military intervention against Russia, has a military intervention against the government of Iran, has a military intervention to support democracy in Myanmar, there's just no way you can group these things together and treat them as one person with one set of characteristics, one conflict with you on the basis of one disappointment. In the same way that guy I knew responded to one bicycle being stolen. Now, some characteristics, like red hair, are hereditary. Being a bicycle thief is not hereditary. That's why you can't lock up a newborn baby and put it in prison for the future crime of being a bicycle thief, but you can probably tell from the eyebrows what color hair it's going to have when it grows up. I knew a guy, only guy I knew from this generation, who was old enough to have memories of World War II. He was German. Both of his parents had been Nazis, so on and so forth. And this guy, I'll remember this until the day I die. His opinion of what the Americans did wrong in Vietnam was that they were not brutal enough. He thought the Americans should go way past the My Lai massacre. He thought the Americans should have used the nuclear bomb. He thought they should have just killed anyone and everyone who signed up to join the Communist Party. I'm sitting there saying to him, what is it you think these people did in Vietnam that merits the death penalty, that merits the use of the atom bomb? Whereas I notice you do not see it as any kind of fucking tragedy that we did not execute your parents, your mother, your father, both of them, who had been willingly and voluntarily, and while being highly literate, well-educated people, your parents who had joined the fucking Nazi party in Germany during that World War II period. Isn't it a strange double standard? Now, in terms of the principle of the thing, I think democracy is better than communism. I think capitalism, in as much as it seems to be ineluctably bound to democracy, is better than communism. No question. I think anyone who's working on a rice farm in Vietnam in the 1950s and who thinks that, their pursuit of national independence is an excuse for getting mixed up with the commies, I think they're making the wrong choice. I think all the people who chose to support communism in Vietnam made a decision that was bad and stupid and wrong. But does that justify the use of the atom bomb? Does that justify a massacre going door to door, as happened on a small scale with the My Lai massacre, killing anyone and everyone who, for whatever reason, including stupidity, signed up for the wrong political party? When we didn't do that to your parents, when your parents were quite literally Nazis, guilty of, implicated in, involved in crimes that cannot be compared to the relatively trivial brutality of the Communist Party of Vietnam, contemptible though it may be. The fundamental problem with racism, or with being too racist, is paranoia. The problem is that people misperceive things as hereditary that cannot possibly be. But if we believed that these types of attitudes were hereditary, if we thought that you were born to be a bicycle thief, or that you were born to grow up and be a Nazi because both of your parents were Nazis, or we thought that you were born to grow up and be a communist because both of your parents were communists, think about just how much deeper, just how much more deadly racism in the 21st century might yet become.
À-bas-le-ciel has like 2,400 videos, I think.